Welcome back to the latest episode in products that want you to do less as a way to maybe do more. This is the reMarkable Paper Pro Move and a little book folio to go along with it because it felt lonely. It didn't want to come in here by itself. And it appears to be a smaller version of the reMarkable Paper Pro non-move, which is larger. So it's harder to move. This one's called the Move because it's smaller. You can take this thing anywhere and no one will stop you. So in case you didn't see our other videos on the other reMarkable products, this company is basically all about getting you and all your friends and family to disconnect from social media. It's rotting your brain. So they've made these products that kind of like, you know, they want to center you back in a more tactile human experience. We want to write on things that seem like, you know, more like we're writing on paper. And this time around, instead of the kind of larger, you know, iPad Pro size large tablet, they're going for a more handheld situation here with a 7.3 inch display. But we'll look more at that in a second. What else is in the box here? We got some real paper. Welcome to our better thinking community. Oh, better thinking community. I thought I read it as better thinking community first, like we think better than you. But it's a thinking community that's better. Quick start guide. Turn on by pressing the power button. Okay. Now our unit was bundled with a Marker Plus, which you can buy alongside it or you can buy separately. And the Marker Plus is a little bit upgraded from the regular marker from reMarkable in that it's got some grip and the eraser on the back. But here's where we get into, you know, this company's approach to this whole thing, because this is the only stylus that you can use with the reMarkable Paper Pro Move. And that's gonna be a bit of a theme as we see. These guys want you to disconnect from all those other services and only use theirs instead. Bit of a trade-off. But we'll look at that a bit more closely in a second. What else is in here? A nice flat USB-C cable. I like the packaging. And additional marker tips. Does this like pop out or something? Oh, it just slides out. Ooh, that is smooth. Even when there are things about a company that would make you a little bit mad at them for, it's like, oh, why didn't you let people do this thing the way that they want to do it? Like, some of that goes away when you open up just like a little thing like this with extra marker tips, and it's just so smooth. Like, they clearly just are paying attention. I love being taken care of. I love people showing me a good time. All right, that's what's in the box. You know, as long as we're unboxing stuff, I'm just gonna unbox this book folio too, because that's gonna go on. This is like, you know, just a kind of a protective little thing around it that will make you feel a little bit more like you're not using a digital device. It's all about deceiving yourself. Ooh, that's nice though. Okay, but before we put that on for good, forever, let's look at the outside of this thing. So on the front here, we have the 7.3 inch canvas color display. That's actually, the display is 7.3 inches, but the device itself is 9 inches across. And the display is color. It's based on the e-ink Gallery 3 display, if that means anything to you. Is there kind of like a quick setting like for like a screen brightness or something? Oh, I just found something. Dragging down on the top right gets you kind of a quick setting thing like in Android. You got airplane mode. What is this? Oh, that's a screen share. This is orientation lock. I've been wanting that because every time I'm moving it around, it flips, so now it won't do that. That's great. And we got the brightness. Are we at max brightness right now? I mean, it's an e-ink screen, but it does have a slight backlight, you know, if you want that. And I believe it's a fairly soft one. On some other tablets that we've seen, there are kind of like different backlight settings for like a cool backlight or a warm backlight or like mixed. This has just got the one setting. Can we turn the lights off for a second? I will say, like, if I'm in a pitch black room, if I'm like right here, it's okay. You know, like it's enough. I think you're probably right, Belle, that it is more of a front light than a backlight. On the top, we have the power button and we can glimpse this anodized aluminum frame that they have around the entire device, giving it a pretty premium look with these ridges. That's about the same sort of design they had on the non-move Paper Pro. On this side, we have, I believe, what is the magnetic attachment point for the pen. Yes. Oh, not a pen, a marker. Do not mess this up. Wow, that's strong. And just like, yeah, I remember that about the last time. They like their strong magnets. Does it charge it? Yes, that charges. FYI. On the bottom, we have nothing except the USB-C port that will be used to charge the battery inside, which will last for 2 weeks, they say. That's better than less than that. It's a 2,334 milliamp hour battery, and reMarkable says that it'll charge to 90% in less than 45 minutes. So like, you're only doing that every fortnight. Interestingly, not a game you can play on this. Oh, the back. The back is not the same as the anodized aluminum frame. This is some sort of like poly composite of some kind, but it's got this like cool texture to it that's sort of teasing you. They have these feet still. Even though it's a lot more of a portable device, they still have these nice features that allow you to kind of put it on a surface and have it just stay there while you draw. I hate it every time I draw, and then when the paper moves because I'm so strong, because my muscles, I can't help it. So as I said, you cannot play Fortnite on this thing. I'm sorry, everyone, but you can do a lot of other stuff, and we're gonna find out what that is after this word from our sponsor.
Masa. Looking to put a bit more crunch in your lunch? Masa makes chips with just 3 ingredients: nixtamalized corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow, which they say contributes to a more satisfying and flavorful chip. They've got flavors like lime, churro, or original, so you really can't go wrong. So why not say goodbye to soggy chips in your salsa and give Masa a try? Go to masachips.com/shortcircuit and use code SHORTCIRCUIT for 25% off your first order.
Now once more though, I'm gonna fit it into the book folio, but there's something pleasurable about taking a fabric covered something and opening it like that. And this is really what reMarkable is all about. They're like, let's get back to basics. Let's, feel as if we're using paper again. Pretend you didn't know that Android and iOS can do all of these millions of things. So we're into the interface here. It's called reMarkable OS. It's their own Linux-based operating system. And that can be a plus and a minus. They can shape things in their own image, but you're also lacking some of the interoperability that's already baked in if you use something like an Android operating system. I've talked about this before, but like other e-ink tablet makers will have a distribution of Android. They'll have an Android-based operating system, and that isn't like exactly stock Android, but you can do a lot of things that Android can do. You expect the settings to be there that you want. And in this one, it's a custom thing. You have to kind of learn how everything works from scratch. I found my way into settings, which is nice. There's some things to learn that like there's not really a home screen per se. I mean, like this is sort of the home screen, my files. The experience here is less about using an app that is like maybe calling to a cloud somewhere, and more about you're doing stuff on your device. When we first covered these guys, I remember thinking like, okay, I'm looking at the list of things you can do with the Connect cloud services, and it's pretty limited. Like, okay, what if I would just want to text something to somebody? I just drew this amazing picture, sun in the sky, grass. And I'm like, wow, this is so good. I want to send this to my 5-year-old. Even though you're connected to Wi-Fi and you can sign in to various services, you cannot just text something to somebody. You can't just attach it. You can send it to their cloud service that can sync with your desktop and stuff, so you can, there is back and forth there, but they are limiting the pipeline. They're limiting the pipe. I did mention that there's an eraser on the other end of this marker plus that you can use to just, I guess, erase a chunk of what you drew. Oh look, I made Alfred Hitchcock. One of the things that reMarkable makes a big deal about is saying that this is gonna feel like paper. And I gotta say that it very much, does a lot more so than, another tablet. I don't know if, you can kind of feel that texture. You feel the roughness. I thought I tapped that circle before, but I must have like just slightly missed it. So you can do colors by tapping that little circle up in the corner. And you can make your stroke thicker or thinner, choose different, magenta paintbrush. That's the thickest paintbrush we got, guys? Really? Can I press, go thin and press to go thicker? They do have some pressure sensitivity. Okay, so there it is. You got color if you really want it. So their note-taking interface here is gonna be somewhat familiar to people who have seen tablets like this before, but if you haven't, you know, it's not trying to be a Photoshop replacement. It's just trying to give you some basic tools that you can use to take notes or sketch things or just get something out of your head and onto this thing instead. You have 3 fonts to choose from. It's like when you use an Apple device and you come across something and you're just like, that's so Apple. Like there are various things in this thing where it's like, that is so remarkable. You know, in terms of, one thing I haven't really talked about yet is the refresh rate and the general sort of like usability of like a touch screen. That's something that e-ink screens struggle with, but as you can see, if you give it a second to refresh after you use it, it's fairly usable and responsive. You know, I can zoom in, zoom out, kind of see where I'm at, and then let go, and it'll kind of be like, all right, that's where we are. It's annoying if you're not used to e-ink screens. This is pretty good compared to some of the e-ink tablets that I've looked at. Like, you know, at least I'm not like, I'm just trying to do this. Like, I know what's happening here. Oh, this is my note that I made. Uh-oh, cloud limit reached. Without Connect, documents stop syncing after 50 days of inactivity. Reactivate cloud storage and sync documents across all devices. It's been longer than 50 days since we drew this thing. Oh, it'll still be there in your cloud, but you can't like modify it. Despite those limitations, you can go into this integrations section and it says integrate with, you can use your own cloud storage. So you can connect your OneDrive, your Google Drive, or your Dropbox and access it on your tablet. If you wanna send anything, that's where kind of Connect is, that's where you need Connect. I mean, you can present with screen share, I guess it's like, you put it on another display. You can send it by email. And those are the only 2 options here without Connect. If you're all about just using this as like a receiving device, then you probably don't need Connect. Otherwise, they want you to use it their way. But what if you just want to use it as an e-reader? Is this how I'm swiping, I'm tapping. How do we go to the next page, people? Oh, swipe on the bottom. You gotta swipe on the bottom. So I have gotten back into reading in the past year or 2, and I'm reading almost entirely ebooks on my phone. So I'm used to kind of just tapping on the right side of the screen, and that is not, what? Everyone's so surprised. It's fine, I use dark mode. Companies like reMarkable and the Minimal Phone and stuff are saying that it is a hardware and software problem. And I think that's definitely part of it. But I think that, like, you know, it's gonna be up to each individual person to take a look at these devices and listen to people like me who are actually using them and kind of like trying to get across to you what it's like to be like, is getting a new device gonna solve this issue? Or do I just kind of need to maybe have a time limiter app? I love reading ebooks on my phone. I'm sorry, okay? I mean, I'm not sorry, I won't apologize. Now, for all of that kind of friendly criticism that I'm giving towards reMarkable for this like very pipeline walled garden approach that they have to, you know, like making you use the tablet the way they want to. Their Connect service isn't that bad. It's $3 a month or $30 a year. You get a 50-day free trial, but it is just hard to justify. If I knew someone who's paying for that, I would have some questions for them. I don't know. Books, right? We all know Books. They use Android and I don't think they have any restrictions on that kind of stuff, do they? We're gonna fact check that. The device itself, the reMarkable Paper Pro Move, starts at $450. The Marker Plus is another $50 if you want that. The Folio here is anywhere from $70 to $140 depending on the material that you get it in. This is, I mean, that's adding up compared to the reMarkable Paper Pro non-move, which is $630 starts at. So, you know, I feel like the one particularly is not quite at that point where it's like obviously overpriced. Like you could make an argument for spending $450, $500 with the thing on something that you think is going to, like, if you're a writer or you're an artist and you're like, I could really use a device like this that is like a sketchbook, but also allows me to kind of stay connected to a certain degree. It has extra tools, I can do color, I can annotate documents. You know, the use case is there for a certain type of person. I think I'm just continually asking, do we need separate devices for that? Or can we have devices that are still smart and just, you know, uninstall TikTok or something? And the answer is no. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to ShortCircuit. Watch the previous video of this series. Watch the reMarkable Paper Pro if you really want to, or any other video from the channel. They're all pretty good.